Hey guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome to the sewing part of this tutorial. So I went ahead to trace out exactly what I have drafted, and if you haven't seen the drafted part of this tutorial, please go ahead to check it out. So I added gum stay to both the material and to the lining for firmness and for neat sewing, and also I used wadding as my breast pad in this tutorial, and also I added gum stay to the back and also to the lining. I noticed that the wadding did not sit properly, so I had to stitch the end part just as I'm showing you like this before joining the side and the center front together. So when you want to join, please start from the end part just as I'm showing you like this, so it will properly align. So if you have any excess at the top, it will be easier for you to trace out whichever way that works for you. So this is it after joining together. So after joining, you're just going to notch like this before ironing your bust part, your bust area. When you notch like this, it will be easier and it will enable the bust part to sit properly. So you just open up your notched part and you just iron just like so, just as I'm doing in the video, and you use your tailoring arm or your breast ball to iron the breast part of it, so it's going to have that curve perky parts of every bustier. So please, when ironing, please use a material to place on top before you iron. I actually did not use a material to place on top because I want you guys to see exactly how I am ironing it. So you just sprinkle small water on it for it to just sit properly and lap, and you just iron just like so. It's basically nothing that serious. So after that, you just flip over to the right side of the bustier, and like I said, please put a material on it. I just did it like this because I want you guys to see exactly what I was doing. So this is it, and when you iron your bustier, your breast will just come out very well, just as you're seeing in the video, like it's sitting very well. So over to the yoke. Like I said in the drafting, like I'm not making a sweetheart yoke, I'm making a keyhole neckline. I actually drafted out like this for people that want to add the yoke and the bustier parts together. So I was satisfied with what I had actually drafted out. So this is it. Then I'm just going to cut out on the cord lace before joining it to my bustier. So after cutting, you can go ahead to use bias to turn your neck, both the front and the back. So we're going to join our yoke to the bustier before adding our lining to it. I actually measured 3.5 from the joining of the bust point, but I later noticed that it was too wide and I later reduced it. So depending on how open you want it to be, initially I used 3.5, but I later reduced it, just like I said. So you're going to do it just like this before adding your lining, and then you sew it together because you would want it to be very neat like this. It's going to be very neat. Don't add your lining and then add your yoke later. Please add all of them together so you have a neat finishing. So you're just going to flip and you just sew accordingly, just like so. So this is it after I added the yoke and the lining together. So I brought the back part just to check if everything was properly aligning, and I noticed that my shoulder wasn't, my armhole was not just as I had measured, so I brought it down by 1 inch. So after doing, you can just go ahead to check all of these things to make sure that what you're working with is exactly the measurements that you have. So at this point, like, I'm going to check. Remember, like, from the drafting, we added 2 inch for our sewing allowance. So I noticed after joining and everything, I had 1 inch excess. So I'm just going to take that part out, just as I'm doing in the video. So I'm just going to take that part out and just cut it off. So my half cut is just going to be exactly that of my client. At this point, everything was sitting properly, just like so. You can see that the back and the front are properly aligned. So over to the center parts of the dress. So I'm trying to bring out the hip part so you see exactly what I am doing, so it won't be confusing. This is the front part of the dress, like the joined part, the skirt joining part of it. Exactly, this is the skirt joining part of it. So I want to cut out the shape you're seeing in the picture. Basically, this is just you using your initiative to draft out exactly what you want, because this cordless and Ankara style, like they have different styles altogether. So what I did was to mark the midpoints from the nail part down to the end. I actually marked the midpoint. So if you have 22, your midpoint will be 11. So I just marked that. And when I got to the hip part, instead of marking 11, because I wanted a shape at the other part of the hip, so what I did was, instead of 11, I now marked 13. Then as I was going up to the waist, then instead of 13, I'll mark 14. I just add small inches to it so I can have that curve that I actually want. So it just basically you using your initiative, like whichever style that you have that you want to do. But this is how you do it. You just place your lace on top of your Ankara and you just cut it out. So if you're confused with what I just explained, you'll see how the cutting is going to be, and it will be easier for you to understand. So this is it. I was just trying to align the waist parts, so I can see where to join my half cut and the skirt parts together. So you can see the shape already, like what I was just explaining. So you're going to put this cordless first. And I actually used the candle gum to glue on it, or a gum, any gum that won't be obvious. You just gum on it so it will be firm on the material. You can use your hemming gum too to do that and iron it, and you can hold it properly. But I actually used a gum to hold it. So I did that before adding my lining because I wanted it to be neat. I didn't want the cordless to be showing inside. So I did it like this first, then I added my lining. Before lining the skirt, like, I added the lining on top. So basically that's just everything for this tutorial. So thank you so much. Thank you very much for staying tuned to this tutorial. Thank you for watching this video, and please subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye for now.